Welcome to Black Families Do Breastfeed video series in honor of Black Breastfeeding Week. My name is Johnathan Patten. I live in Nashville, Tennessee with my lovely wife Tiara and my daughter Juliet. So the topic I have is supporting your partner. This pertains to PPD, bringing the baby home for the first 6 weeks and everything that changes because before you got home it was just you two, and now when you're home there's 3 of you, 4 of you, 7, 8, depending on how many kids you had. And I'm just going to be talking about the things that will help you navigate the woes of the first 6 weeks. They call it the baby blues, and a lot of times there's a lot of black women that are affected by postpartum depression that a lot of times they will not say anything. A lot of times they will not even know that they're having it. And statistics say that it's about 44% of black women that have PPD and don't know it. So I'm going to hopefully explain a few things to help your partner, the men in the families, help you navigate through PPD or any other issues surrounding that so you can navigate it better. So for me personally, growing up, I never saw any mothers breastfeeding. Over the years, I'm 31 this year, and I hadn't seen it up until when my wife decided she wanted to breastfeed. And it's funny because when she first told me about it, I was like, nah, that's not an option. We're gonna get formula. This is just not something I wanted to do. Only because I was ignorant to what the benefits were and why mothers did it. I knew it was something that was done, years ago because formula wasn't always around. But that's just some things that I didn't hear about, didn't see or anything like that. So she had, I believe, her cousin breastfed and one of her best friends breastfed. So she was exposed to it, and I really wasn't. So for me, it was a wake-up call to try it out. I mean, worst case scenario, if it didn't work, it didn't work. But I was just gonna support her and encourage her to do it. So when the end of the pregnancy got here, we were maybe 6 months pregnant, and 6 or 7 months, and then we were preparing for the baby to come home. I started nesting really, really bad. I bought a crib at 7 months. I started buying all kinds of diaper cloths, toys, wipes, Pampers, just some of everything. And we were still about 2 months out, but she even had like a little princess chair, and she still hasn't sat in it. And she'll be 12 months or a year this month, sorry. And for me, it was just making, in my mind, I was like, I gotta fix it. I gotta make sure everything's ready. And you're never really prepared for everything. And so your wife or significant other might not be prepared either. So it's good to have as many conversations as you can about any questions you have in pertaining to that. So with my case, whenever we went to the doctor, the last 2 or 3 visits I would ask about PPD, and my wife didn't too much ask about it. She said, oh, I won't be affected from it, it's not that big a deal. In my mind, I'm like, well, I want to be prepared just in case if something happens. I want to know the signs, I want to know what I can do, because the worst thing you want to do is just turn a blind eye to it, because then they'll just sit in it and sulk a little bit longer, and that's the worst thing you can do, is just kind of shrug it off like it's no big deal, because everything about it is a big deal. So the day came, we had our daughter about 7:44 on August 24th. It was awesome. I was there, hands-on with the pregnancy. We did tug of war to get the baby out and everything. It was pretty cool. And, everybody was happy. She was, of course, tired, but everything was good. And then we were released the next day. We went home. And then my mother came down from, she was on a cruise down in Florida. So when she got off the cruise boat, she hopped on a plane straight to our house. And she helped us for the first 2 weeks. And at this point, I hadn't realized what an impact that would have, both good and even better for, in my eyes. So the things that would happen would be that, the new mom is trying to get adjusted to breastfeeding. When we were in the hospital at that time, our baby's blood sugar was low, so we had to supplement. We supplement using baby formula. My wife was really upset about it, but she understood why. But after that, she said, we are doing breastfeeding. That's it, nothing else. So when my mother came down, she helped us clean up the house, wash bottles and things like that. And my wife would get upset not knowing why she was upset. So, a lot of times if you're having PPD issues, you'll be going through these moments where you want help, but you're not sure how to receive it. So you perceive it as, well, she's taking my job. That's my job. I'm supposed to do that. And it's not the case. A lot of times, especially in the black community, the mothers sometimes butt heads with the wives, and it can be a big deal. But it's always, to me, it comes down to just communication. If you're not sure and you don't say anything, we're just not aware. So in her eyes, it was me and mom against her, and I was like, it's just not the case. So I would go in the room, and sometimes she'd have the door closed, lights off, all in the dark, crying her eyes out. And I'm like, what is going on? Talk to me. And she said, well, I feel like I'm not enough. I feel like this. I feel like that. And I'm like, that's not the case. She's just trying to help you do this. I'm taking care of everything else. So all you can do is just sit around and get some rest, calm down, relax. We were still latching on. I think at one point, my mother might have gave her a little bit of formula, and my wife wasn't too happy with that because she said we're supposed to be breastfeeding. And I'm like, I understand that, but at the time she just wanted to be sure that she had something to eat. So I relayed the message to my mom because I'm the son, so I have to talk to my mom and say, hey, this is what she wants, and hopefully we can keep these boundaries in order. So that turned out to be a good thing. My mom understood. She's not a hard woman at all to work with. I love her to death. So she helped us do a lot. Those first 2 weeks she was there felt like 3 months. Because I asked her, I said, Mom, how long were you actually here? She said, I was only there for 15 days. And I said, no, had it been about 2 or 3 months because it felt like forever. So time definitely slows down when you have a baby because you don't sleep. And when you do sleep, it's like 20, 30 minutes, sometimes an hour and a half. And she was up every 2.5 hours like clockwork. So when she was ready to eat, she was ready to eat, whether you were ready or not. So she had a breast pump, and she would pump some milk, and that would help for the times that she would sleep through the night. So the best thing you could do as a new father, because sometimes there's a case where PPD happens with men, and we sometimes can feel left out, neglected from our spouse, and just not part of the family, because the mother is breastfeeding, the baby's attachment to her is really, really strong in comparison to ours. So a lot of times I would just sit there and be like, oh, am I even here? Should I disappear? What's going on? But you don't want to stay in your own mind too long. So you just want to jump out and be as helpful as possible. I think I bought 4 or 5 different pillows, a wedge for the bed. I almost fell on the floor a couple times. And I was okay with that because I knew she was comfortable, and the baby was comfortable and things like that. So it's good to just be very selfless and support your significant other, because the more you neglect it, the worse it gets. That's from my experience, because I didn't ignore it. I was on top of everything. As soon as she was sad and crying, I was in her face like, hey, what's going on? What we got? Talk to me. Well, it's this. Okay, let's fix it. Let's adjust it. And she was big on protecting her energy, and so was I, because drama pops up in the middle of nowhere. It'll be cool, calm, and quiet, and then it just hits you. So I was fielding a lot of phone calls. I was fielding a lot of guests. So if anybody was coming over, they had to call me first. And for the first 6 weeks, we was keeping it to a minimum because we didn't want any issues, and just wanted her to be supported and happy with everything she was doing. So usually she's a social butterfly. She will go out just about every day. If there's an event, she's there. So when she was pregnant, she was still going out and doing things. She was at concerts all the time. And after she gave birth, for the first 6 weeks, she didn't do anything. She just kind of stayed in the house, did the breastfeed and everything like that. And I said, okay, we need to have, you need to have a U day. So, I took the baby. I said, hey, pump milk, and I will have it ready in the bottles. So when you want to go somewhere, that can happen. She said, well, what do you think I should do? I said, just do a little bit of self-care. You get your hair done, bubble bath, soap, do what you got to do. And I think it was a Bruno Mars concert coming up that 6th week, and she said, I have to go. And I said, okay, leave me some milk, and let's do it. And she was so nervous the whole time she was out. She was like, how's the baby? How's the baby? I said, she's good. She's asleep. She's fed. She's full. And she is not moving. She's knocked out sleep. So she probably slept the whole time she was gone, and then when she came back, she woke up. So I think it's good to support your partner and try to get them to go back to being, not go back, but try to get them to get back into being themselves. Because a lot of time with PPD, you almost become a different person, and you're not recognizable to some degree. So you want to definitely support them in the habits that they had prior to pregnancy, And there's a lot of moms that breastfeed. I had no idea. So once I got into the know of it, that's when you realize there's a lot of people that breastfeed, and there's a lot of benefits to it. So definitely do that. So that's what I got from my topic of support your spouse, support your partner. Guys, keep your head up, don't quit, be persistent, be consistent, don't be blind to it. You know, a lot of signs are obvious. Sometimes they won't say a word, but their face will say it, their attitude will say it, even their mannerisms. You know, a lot of stuff changes real quick, so you gotta, if you know your spouse and all the things that she does and everything changes, be aware of it, take action then. So again, my name is Johnathan Patten. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube under Passionate Pattens, and follow Black Breastfeeding Families on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you.